Right. Okay. Today is really just to have a look at keeping members' finances tidy, and there is I think there has been a lot of in the past where things have sort of got a little bit out of hand, and generally doesn't make an awful lot of difference, but it can restrict the system in some of the things that it tries to do if it finds that people owe a lot of money or people are heavily in credit or whatever it is. So let me just sort of start, and please chip in as we go, so so it's interactive, if you like. So right, let's go and see if I can find a tab to present.
I'm guessing, Stephen Ridpath, that is. Are you recording this because you're up twice? You are. Good. Thank you.
Right. Okay. What I'm going to start with is the Treasurer's dashboard. Does everybody recognise that? Is comfortable with that? Or is everybody not comfortable with it? It sits in. It sits in the Treasurer's submenu. And it records payments, but it also records the sort of your accounts from your membership, your groups, and your events. But that's not really where we are today. I mean, that's just where just some of the other things that it does. And then I think this is where I wanted to start, was to look at this section at the bottom here. The idea here is that it will show you where members are not in their correct financial position. So they've either got money owing, or you owe them money, or the system thinks you owe them money. So if we start off here and have a look at the overdue accounts. So here it gives you a list of people who will show as not paid, overdue. So I've just sort of taken this as an example here, and this you can see this is nearly the same as the financial transactions you get when you look at your own, except that only shows the payments you've made and how much and things that you owe for. This is the if you like, the Treasurer's view of it, if you like, where it gives you the charges that are raised and the payments. Now, generally at the bottom, you should find if this one was we were looking at overdue ones. So in other words, the charges are in excess of the payments made, and could see really looking back over the previous, on this particular one of the previous 2 years, there's been a £14 charge made, and then the payment for 2020, then another 14 for, and then another payment for 2021, and then there was a charge for 2022, and it hasn't been paid. So that's why it's showing it outstanding. That's why it appears on this list. Just to say, there's a due date here, and if the due date is set, so for things like membership renewal, it will put in there the date of the start of the financial year, membership year, and so it won't appear on this list until it becomes overdue. In other words, past the start of your new year. So if you look at this when you've just after you've run your renewals, then the people who haven't paid yet don't appear here on that list. So people can appear on here for all sorts of reasons. You know, basically the first one, the most obvious one, is they haven't paid. They haven't paid, and you've gone past the 1st of May in this case, or whatever it was. So this is pointing to the fact that you've got somebody who's still a live member, but hasn't paid their membership fee. Now, these where this happens, it should all be cleaned up with the suspend non-paid. But if you're not running the suspend non-paid, then you can have people who still appear to be members, but still haven't paid. So it's worthwhile keeping an eye on that overdue one when you get past that, just to make certain that there are people there who aren't sort of slipping under the thing, and they're looking like members when they aren't members. In some cases they won't be allowed. It depends how you set it up, but even though they haven't paid, they will not be allowed to, if you set up the switch which says they can only join groups if they've paid, then they won't get past that link. But if you haven't set that up, then members can come in and join groups and do all sorts of things without paying if you haven't suspended them. So that's one of the key things to look at. Obviously, other things which
in the system details, what is that particular switch called, Chris?
Which for what? Sorry.
That particular switch that stops them for paying if they have, paying for groups, going to groups, etc. If they haven't become a member. What is that switch called? Right.
Let me just remind myself. So if you set up a group, if you set up, I don't know. I want a group. Groups like it. So if you set up a new group, that's not a group. There's a question on the bottom there, which does not. So I haven't got it switched on.
Right.
Maybe it's not on an individual basis. Maybe, as you say, it's in systems details. I'll just hang on. Let's have a look.
Chris, are you looking for override renewal check?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. This is to do with groups. So if somebody hasn't paid their subscription for the following year,
yeah,
they can't join the group.
I thought that was from the override renewals check. Hang on, I'm just switching to our system.
Oh yeah, because you put different descriptions in, haven't you?
Pardon? You've
changed these descriptions of systems details.
No.
You have.
Well, I have, but not this.
I don't know which ones you have and you haven't, do I?
Yeah, no, but what I'm looking at, Chris, I thought this was all done by, if they hadn't renewed, when you've got an existing group, so not a new one that you're setting up,
yeah.
you get a box that comes up about 2/3 of the way down that says override renewal check, and you can set it up as no renewal check on this group or renewal check applies on this group.
Yes, but that's switched on or off somewhere in systems details as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, yes, because you can not have that. I'll tell you what. Look, I'll have a look for that afterwards, and I'll send it out as a note. Really, what it is. I can't find it at the moment.
I've obviously switched it on without knowing I had.
I think it's switched on by default.
Oh, okay.
So groups. I probably have got it. Oh, I'll tell you where I should look. The features list.
I thought it was called renewal check.
I certainly know that I don't believe I've got it set on at all. If I had, I wouldn't have asked the question, of course.
What did you say it's called?
I said I wouldn't have.
I was asking Alan what he thought.
I thought it was called renewal check.
It's called group when renewed. Here. Oh. Yeah. So you probably can't see that, can you?
I've got it. Yeah, it's all right. I'm just looking in our system, Chris. I've come away from the call. Set if group application only allowed when membership renewed. Yeah, that's the fella. Group when renewed. And no, I haven't renamed it. It's still the same in our system.
Right. Okay. But then, anyway, that's the thing which takes you back to the.
But you only see that, Chris, on an existing group. If you set up a new group, it doesn't come up straight away. I don't think. Does it?
Oh,
I don't think so. I think it's only on existing groups.
Okay. I'm surprised actually. Let's have a look.
You go to an existing group, and then click on the pen and paper. That's it.
Said your subscription was overdue. Was that it?
No, subscription overdue is to do with subscriptions as opposed to group entries.
Oh no, it must be on the switch, Chris, because you haven't got it there either.
I've got it switched on. Yeah. Yes, it definitely is there. But obviously I've got it switched off for some reason here. But anyway, that's where you were. So just got to be careful about that anyway. Right. Okay. Let's go back to where we were. So overdue accounts. So now I've got lots in there because, I obviously don't put every payment in and that sort of thing. So things do get paid. So, but clearly, the things will turn up here, and you will probably need to either suspend them, in which case the charge will disappear, or delete them if it's been there a long time, or if they've actually paid and you haven't put it in, then I suppose that needs to be updated. So it's occasionally we have had things here from issues come through on credit card issues, and they caused entries in this. I think at one point we had some with a couple of entries, payments which went in twice, and those sorts of things. But this report will pick all those up and let you know. So okay. Now, if you want to, the way in which to put these right, if they're not things that can be done by the system, if you just wanted to get it back to zero, if you like, or get it back to the fact that they don't know anything either way, is you can put your own transaction into the system, and you do that using this blue cross, and basically you use this here. A certain amount of it is preset because you've come from that particular thing, membership number and whoever it is. So the items you need to enter. Well, let's say before you is there are 4 types of, no, there's more. Okay, there's several. There's 5 types of transactions here. 6. Anyway, yeah, right. There's a charge and a credit which refer to the setting up in the system of a charge or taking out that charge. So if you want to put in, for some reason you want to put a charge into it, then that's charge. If you want to get rid of a charge, so let's say if we go back and say this chap owes this £14, but I want to get rid of that £14 because for some reason or other he ain't going to pay it. You can raise a credit.
Yeah, don't forget, Chris, that we don't see your drop downs.
Don't you? Oh,
no.
Okay. Yes. Right. Okay. So all right. You've got a charge which is adding a new charge. You've got a credit. You can see the selections. Can you? You can see I've selected.
Sorry. Yes. Yeah. We can see them once you've selected them.
Okay. Yeah. So a credit will reverse out that charge. So if we wanted to get rid of that £14, we would raise a credit. So simply done by putting 14 in the value, picking the year, which is 22, 23. The charge type, well, it's a membership fee, which we want to get rid of. The payment source doesn't actually come into it on a charge. It's more, that's obviously to do with payments. There's no due date there, but you could put the membership start date like the other one, so they're tied up together, 1st of May.
How strange. We see your drop down calendar.
Yeah, well, that's not done with the drop down. That's done with a JavaScript script, and then sort of whatever you want, a description.
We found in doing ours, Chris, as you know, that reference is very important to make the link between what you're doing for that member, and then when it shows up in the whole credit and debit listing, because otherwise you sort of think, what the hell is that particular thing doing in this list? And then you forget. So it's very important to reference that, to cross-reference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yeah. If you use the refund system, it does it links them together. But as you say, if you're putting manual ones in, then you have to do it that. And then selecting a group. Well, the group, you select membership because it's a membership one. So that has now raised this £14 minus. So now you've got £28 on both sides, and so the person is back level. If you wanted to do the same with a payment, and the member doesn't see this column, so the member won't know, or well, they will have known because they will have an entry at the bottom which says £14 due for membership if they go into it. But once you've raised that credit, that will disappear and there won't be anything under there at all. So it will disappear, but they don't get the detail of it. So if you put a reference in there of something which it's only seen by whoever's given access to that particular entry inside the system similar sort of thing. If you want to do a change the payments, so if with you do have the option to actually with payments to use the refund system, but you may just want to not put a refund. You may, because something's wrong, you don't want to do that. You can put one in here, similar sort of thing, same thing, £14. This time yes, you put in a refund as opposed, so it's credits the charge, refund credits the payment. So if we put a refund in 22.23, membership fee, and this time the source is so the source depends how you're making the refund, but if you're paying a checkout, you can do a bank transfer, cash, but I hardly think you're going to do that. And then you've got the internal transfers or manual payments thing to reverse. Due date's not quite so important, so you can leave that blank. But again, reference whatever it is. And then select the group membership and okay. So now you get a 14, because you've gone refund, then it puts the minus 14 in the payments column. So now again you're back owing money again, because you've given money. So that's the way in which you actually put in transactions. So if we go back to, is that okay? Anybody got any questions on that? Okay.
Just to clarify, manual payment. What does that mean? You must either pay people by check or bank transfer or something.
Well, in a way, from the system's point of view, it's just a way of describing it. You can say that means whatever you want it to mean. It's just that there is a thing to say there for manual payment, but you may not use it. But
We did a lot of these a couple of weeks back, and all we did, we put in internal transfer, I think is one of the options, and then in the description or whatever, no cash changed hands, system tidy up.
Yeah, well, an internal transfer, the idea of that was when you are transferring from one member to another. So
right.
It uses that for when you get a multiple payment, for instance. So if you're paying for where you've got linked payments together. So if you're paying, Mr. and Mrs. Jones is paying together and they pay their £28, it goes in as £28 payment, and then it does a transfer or an internal transfer of £14 into Mrs. Jones, so that she looks as though she's up to date as well, which is not the same as joint membership, which is done differently. Right. Okay. So going back to Treasurer's dashboard again, the other half of the thing is credit accounts. So similarly, sort of somebody has overpaid. So again, it's really only the other side of that. But again, there's going to be all sorts of reasons for that, which you may want to.
Shall I just tell sort of the people on the call why we had to do this? Was because what we found was we use credit card payments quite heavily. And I do mean quite heavily. And what was happening was we set our renewals off, and we suddenly found that there was an awful lot of members that had no credit card icon. Once we started renewals, they had no credit card icon, and we went, why not? What's going on? And Chris, in his wisdom, then informed us that this is because they're in credit. And we went, what? And what it is, if our membership fee was, I don't know, let's say £12, and they were in credit to the tune of £24, £36, whatever, but above £12, it stops the credit card icon coming up, because the system believes that they've got enough money in their account that they don't need to pay anymore. So the credit card icon does not appear. So when you start renewals, if you use credit card payments, make sure that each person's account is dead level at the bottom.
Yes, perhaps more importantly than the little credit card icon, it won't show the menu item for them to pay either, if it believes that they're in credit.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So normally you get, well, I don't know how, if you switch it on to allow people to click on the left-hand menu to make their payment, that the menu item there won't appear if you're in credit.
Oh, thank you for that. That's very helpful. Thank you, Alan.
Yeah,
Chris?
we had about 40 people that had no way of paying, and we were, well, what's going on? And we found it was because of it was our theatre group. God, I could strangle them at times. It was the way they were working. It was how we told them to work. I must admit, hands up, it was our fault. We've now changed how they work, but it was because they kept crediting people with theatre trips, and a theatre trip is 50 odd quid. So anyone that had cancelled a theatre trip wasn't getting a method to pay. So crazy.
Yes. On the membership side, this shouldn't work in that way. In that, if for instance somebody you sort of take somebody out by deleting them, or yes, it's deletion. Yes, it's the system will look to see if there is any money outstanding and will level it up to zero if you delete them. So if you decide you want to give them money back before you delete them, then you want to make you do the financial adjustment to do that first, so that the system then doesn't credit them back. So you get through the payment first.
Yeah, it really was our fault, Chris, the way that we told the theatre group to work. They were doing what we told them to do, and we hadn't realised that it had this consequence. So it was down to us. It wasn't really their fault, but it's just it always seems to be the theatre group that's causing problems.
Yeah.
So am I right in saying, Chris, rather than having to go through every member's finance details to see where this problem is, looking at that summary that showed us before, it would show up there.
Absolutely. If any member is in credit or is overdue, it will appear in this bit at the bottom. So you don't have to check anybody. You'll get a list of them. I don't know whether or not this has happened with various people over the years, and I think some now regularly check that. So, but it's certainly worthwhile doing. Certainly worthwhile doing.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I was having a look at our treasurer dashboard, which I don't normally do because I don't normally have the authority for it, and it's giving me the accounts for 21 to 22, and it's telling me that we're £6,000 adrift. So I clicked on membership, and it's listing lots of members as being outstanding, including me. So I went into my personal account, and it said that over the years since we've been online, I've owed 80 and I've paid 80, so I'm not outstanding. So I'm confused as to what I'm doing wrong. Is it something to do with the year end? Because quite a lot. I don't quite understand why the dashboard is saying we're adrift on membership.
Would it be worthwhile? Do you mind if you would you show it to us and see?
Yes, I'll go back into the just the plain dashboard, so there's no information.
So if I stop presenting, then you could.
Yeah, and I can. And then you can see what I've got. How do I do it? Is it on?
So, how you present?
Yeah, how do I represent? Yes,
yeah, it's the.
I see it. Yes.
Fourth button.
Will it give me an option of what to present?
You can just pick a tab to.
I'll pick a window. Hang on. Which one do I want? Oh, hang on, because I'm in the wrong. Oh, I need to go into it, don't I? Hang on.
Yeah.
This may not work. Let me see what happens if I do this. Are you seeing it?
No, not yet. No. So if you.
What are you seeing?
Nothing at the moment. Have you? You've clicked present now, have you?
Click present now. Oh, hang on. It's asking me to allow something. Oh, hang on. It went entire screen. Let's do that then. So then allow. Okay, I didn't. Is it showing now?
Yes. It's starting
Okay.
to. Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
So
at the top, charges are 8,000 something.
Yeah.
Payments are less than that. Am I missing something here or not?
Right. So if you click on, if you clicked on that, it would give you on the membership one. That would give you a list of all the people and who's paid and who hasn't paid and who's outstanding. So
yeah, well, I'm one of them. It says I'm outstanding. In the first column, it says there's charges of £20, and then a whole run of zeros, meaning outstanding of £20. But when I actually go into my account individually, using that bit at the bottom here, where it says show members detail,
yeah,
not outstanding. I owed 80 and I've paid 80. So the two aren't agreeing with one, because it's got scores of members are coming up outstanding.
right.
And some of them, most of them are outstanding for the entire fee. Some of them are part of it because we have charge extra for newsletters, and a few of them are in credit. But none of them really are. I don't think any of them really are. But
Right.
like when I went into my actual account, it didn't carry forward. It didn't show me that I was outstanding.
No, well, that's I'm surprised. Okay, look,
Can you look at it offline yourself? You do
Yep.
have access to this to see if you can.
I will. Yeah, I'll yes, it's so it's the way it showed is showing a bit muffly, but what's the 8,100 is it, and then 606. 600.
Well, there's charges of 8,000 something, online payments of 600, and then manual payments, which I take to be the cheque payments.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where the manual refunds have come from, but there may have been some. And then it says outstanding 6,500, and I don't know what the fees are. What's fees?
Fees are your payment that's the payment that's made credit card. It's Stripe. It's Stripe.
Okay, that was Stripe. Okay.
But that's interesting. And
I mean,
yeah,
that's probably correct, the Stripe, but the numbers aren't adding up.
right. Okay. Yes, because you can see down below your membership online payments is something like about 3,300. Right. Okay.
Okay. I leave that with you for a later time.
Yes, I think it might be to do with your financial year start and your membership year start. You may have.
Okay. Yes, that's probably. Yeah. Okay. That may be it. Okay. Thank you.
I'll have a look and I'll send you a note or get in contact with you. Yeah. Right. Okay. So, back to. Right. Okay. So now, yeah, what I wanted to just talk about was this Treasurer's dashboard will show all the payments that are made for membership when they're made for groups and events. But what it doesn't show, or at the top it doesn't show, is new joiners. So if a new joiner comes in and he or she pays by credit card at that point, then the system at the top part won't show that in membership because they're not members yet. So you would get a difference, let's say, between what's actually being paid, if you like, through Stripe, as opposed to what's actually put up in the online payments at the top. And you can find that out by clicking on at the bottom part, the cash side, which is the side that does tie up with Stripe. So we've got here this online payment here of £552. If we click on there, you get the list of everybody who's paid for this year, and you'll find that here, for instance, this 100251. You can always tell a joiner who hasn't yet been confirmed as a member because it always starts. It's always a number of over 1 million. If it's under 1 million, then they're actually they are members. If they're over 1 million, then they are people who are sitting in waiting to join. So here we got this person here, 100251. If we click on their details, we can see that 29th of July, they applied to join. They paid their £14, but haven't yet been accepted as a member. So it probably means you've got some people outstanding in the, I just find the membership one, the section there, membership section, applications to join. And there, I've got 1 or 2 people in here who paid online, and I haven't accepted them. So I think that one is the one we've just looked at. So if I just accept it,
I'd sack that membership secretary. They're way behind.
yeah, exactly. Right. So now if we went back into Treasurer's dashboard. So number 251 is actually gone now. So they're no longer in this list here. They'll now be whatever membership number they've given. They'll now be in there properly now, and they will now also be in the membership list at the top as well. So probably the last one to join, I guess, 259. Yeah, I think. So there are some slight sort of, and the reason why that is the case is because they haven't actually been formally as members. Therefore, they're not part of the membership account at that point. We've talked only about membership, but the groups and the events in terms of the entries that's sitting in their own records are exactly the same. So you can look at the philosophy, and you can see you get the same analysis here. And so if you want to have a look at Tony Blair, he's also in here somewhere. Of course, Tony Blair, yeah. Was it philosophy, £3.45. So it still comes in the same. You can still put entries in and assign them to a group. So yeah, something I should have said was that if when you're doing it, if you actually put the group in, you're making a group payment, that will appear in the group payments analysis, which is on the group list. So by making it there, it does appear in the rest of the system as well. Right. Okay. Refunds. I don't know whether anybody uses refunds in the system or how much they use them, but there are a number of ways to work refunds in the system. You can either basically have it as a manual operation, refunds, and you've got a switch in systems details, which I'm trying to remember what it is, called manual refunds only. So in other words, if you've got manual refunds only, that will not go. So if you've got credit card payments or whatever that does, it won't go into try and go to Stripe to try and credit it or anything like. If you've switched on manual refunds, it's a bit round the wrong way, this switch. It's that if it's switched off, that means you can give credit card refunds. If it's switched on, it's manual ones only. So I've got it switched off, and so that is allowing credit card refunds. So if you want to, let's say, refund. No, before I go there are two other. So there's manual refunds, but there's also multiple. There are, what are they called? Authorizers. You can either have one, or you can either have 0, 1, or many authorizers. If you have no authorizers set up, then the system will go ahead and provide the refund by just clicking on the refund thing and allowing it. So even if it's a credit card one, if you haven't got any authorizers set up, the system will go through and just automatically give the refund. And you set up your authorizers in authorities. So you've got this column here, the R column. At the moment, I haven't got any authorizers set. So if you haven't got any authorizers set and you decide you want to refund a credit card payment, here's one, another £14. If I refund, it goes straight to, yeah, that's actually, this is something I found when I was looking at it earlier on. When you do it, it automatically jumps back to your own financial record rather than the person that you've just done. So you have to go through again and find, was it Tony Blair? Financial history. And so now it's by just clicking on the refund, it said here, it's got refunded on the end here, and also raised the refund, and is actually given back Tony Blair his £14. Obviously it's a test system, so it's not giving anybody back anything, but you've got to be careful. If you do that, that will actually put it back on their credit card. If you have an authorization system, then you need to set up. You can set up as many authorizers as you like. Let's put a couple in. So I've got 3 authorizers. So now if we go back to Tony Blair again. Get some of the payments on here. And we go to his financial history. So if we wanted to give back this this subscription payment of £5.67, now if I refund it, okay, I want to refund it. It now says, right, who's got to authorize this? And so you click on, say you want these 2 guys to authorize it. And why are you giving it? I don't know, whatever. And you confirm that. So that still won't, that still won't do the refund. Sits in the system and waits. And now if you look at this, you can see that there are 2 people. It's waiting for 2 people to authorize it before it will let it go. 2 people have got to authorize it, and so
at that point, are emails sent off to both of them to say, please come in, you need to authorize?
I would think so. I can't entirely remember. I could just have a quick look. Yes, is the answer.
Good.
It's just arrived. It says you've been nominated as an authorizer for a refund. Please log in and review the proposed refund. Very, very helpful. Very.
As a second, spit it out, son. As a second question, Chris, you've got 2 set up as authorizers.
Yes.
Do they both have to authorize, or
Yes.
is it a case of one authorizes done and dusted?
No, both have to.
It needs them both, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and you can have you can set one of the authorizers as a mandatory authorizer. So you might say, well, the treasurer must always authorize it, but it can be one of 3 others to do it. So if you set the treasurer as the mandatory authorizer, everything will have to go through him, which seems to make sense. So I've come in as setup administrator. So it's saying, yes, you've got one to authorize. Okay, yeah, I'm happy he has that. So clicking on there authorizes it, but it still won't go. I've got to log out. What was it, 50, wasn't it? I think it was login is 50. Yeah, so there we go. So it's still sitting there now. So now if I click authorize it, oh, it goes completely blank. That's interesting.
Well, he's got no more authorizations to do, has he? So it will go blank, surely.
Well, yeah, but I'm not in his. I think it's because it's Peter Clive. So if we log in again as me, and we go and have a look at Tony Blair. Still showing as refund pending. Now that should now, there's a refund background task which should go and refund that.
Chris?
Yeah.
The second person's got to authorise, so that's why it's pending.
Yeah, but I did authorise it.
No, hasn't the second person got to authorise? Didn't you just?
I went in as the second person and authorised it as well. So,
okay.
So
Sorry.
I went in as both and refund and authorised it.
The fact, Chris, that it's a Stripe transaction, would it not run overnight with Stripe?
No, I don't think it runs overnight. I think it's a background task which should do it. So hopefully it should do it within a minute or so. But it's not. So let's. So if we go into.
Can you look in Stripe record and see what's it showing in there?
Yes. Yeah, we can have the Stripe record. It does. It should raise the. You can see it's raised it, but it hasn't completed it. Look, if you look at the one down here, which I did earlier on, you've got the CH number and the RE number. Maybe the way I've got it set up, I'll check that out. And
Hello, Chris.
Yeah.
My very much better half is saying it might have been the sequence that you
showed us how to refund.
Showed us how to refund, did a refund from you, then set up 2 authorizations, and then did one of them.
I don't. Well, I don't know.
Okay,
I'll have to go and check it out, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know why. And if it is a problem, then I'll definitely let you know. I don't know whether anybody's using it. So if you got a credit, what you mean? Is anybody using it to refund credit cards?
I will. I expect to be using it. I've got it all set up to do so.
And
I haven't actually used it yet, though.
Right. Okay.
We don't use it, Chris, because our treasurer is so tight she actually squeaks when she walks, and it costs us money to do it that way. She does it a way that costs us now.
What? Oh, I see. You do a bank transfer or something, do you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I say, our treasurer squeak. You know she's coming because you can hear her around the corner. She's squeaking as she comes towards you.
Yeah. Well, that's what you need in that position, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't want people like you, sort of rough and ready, do you? You want somebody who's.
Oi, easy.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I'll have a look at that. But I think Congleton. There's nobody here from Congleton, is there? No. I think Congleton use it. So multiple. It must be something to do with the multiple authorizations that.
John just threw his hand in the air. I presume he's from Congleton, Chris.
Who has?
John Jervis.
Oh, hang on. I'll come out. John. Hello. I don't suppose you know the answer to that question then. You're on mute.
I had a rain bleed, so my voice is very strange. Which is why it's best if I mute.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. So,
Are we still on refunds?
yeah, but yes, yeah.
I'm having to do a load of partial refunds.
No, I don't know. We did discuss this probably a couple of years ago, and it gets so terribly complicated trying to do the way I would suggest you do a partial refund is if we're talking Stripe, are we?
Well, yes, yeah.
Right. Okay. The way I go into Stripe, make the partial refund you want to, and then do a transaction in the way that we talked about earlier on. You know, on these, the old. I forget.
Yeah.
And that will get the transactions correct. You know, just do one of these and select the refund from there, and then put the value you want to refund.
Right. Thank you.
But obviously, if you do a partial refund, you're going to have to do a partial credit as well, or you're going to end up with it being out of balance.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've just been sitting here thinking about Angela's question, because I'm sure it's the same that we had, Chris, in that unfortunately previous membership secretary had not suspended unrenewed members, and we ended up with an accrue of 3 years, as it turned out, of members who hadn't paid. And we ended up like, it was something like, I think it was something like 6,000 odd, no, 7,000 odd outstanding payment. And we went through them and did the suspend delete, and amazingly how much it suddenly all just disappeared. I mean, obviously it made some of them phone up and say, why have I got this saying I'm going to be deleted? But at least it then meant that we ended up with, there was 150 members who needed to be deleted and suspended, etc. Suspended, then deleted after the renewal period had gone. And they ended up with, it was only something like 20-ish left, who we then had to, with your help, obviously do what we've just been doing, basically. Yes. Just been showing it. So it is because I think you'll find that you haven't been using the suspend the member.
Does everybody use suspend? Or does anybody not use it at the moment?
Did you say 2 weeks, Stephen? They get 8 hours with us once the new year starts. If they haven't paid, you're gone. You're suspended. You're out of here. A month later, you're deleted.
How many drinks have you had over the new year, Alan?
We give them a day.
No, I think the Constitution. If you do look at the Constitution, guys, especially I believe it's the Model Constitution Trust Document 35, which we've adopted last year. It does say for 2 weeks after them, you give them a little. When you send, you are suspended. It then says you've now got another 2 weeks to put in your renewal fee, and at that time you will be deleted. And there is an email in the system.
Yeah, we do give it. They're in suspend for a month, but we suspend them that day. 1st of September, bonk, suspend. 30th of September, bonk, you're out of here. You're gone.
Yeah, no, it's trying to get Art to do it this year because she's new. Oh, it took 3 months. Not that I'm particularly happy about that, but anyway, yeah, that's what we found. It was this outstanding membership was because it was back to 2019. We had people on there. Yeah. Yes, I said a few other words when I found out.
So does everybody use suspend? Or does anybody not use suspend? Yeah.
We use it. Yeah, we use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very useful. What we found in Wrexham is that you suspend them, say there's, I don't know, 50 members, and you give them another few weeks, and you end up deleting the same members. You know, you might as well have done the deletion 2 days afterwards. It didn't make any difference.
I must admit, our suspend process, it does concentrate the mind, because you tell them that you've been suspended, you've been taken out of your groups, and you're going to have to reapply to rejoin the group that you thought you were going to go to next week. Well, why have I been suspended? Because you haven't paid your money. Well, what do I do now? Pay your money. Okay, I'll pay my money. Can I go to the group? Only if you reapply to the group. And the group might have filled up in the meantime because you've been taken out of the group. Oh, it doesn't half concentrate the mind.
Yes, yes.
Phyllis, you just said you don't use suspend. Why don't you do that? You are. Are you there?
Phyllis, you're on mute, by the way. I can see.
Ah. We can see you, but not hear you now.
No, she should be okay. I can see her mute symbol has gone from her screen. Oh, no, still not coming through.
Oh, right. Okay.
You might have the wrong mic selected, Phyllis.
Ah, right. Okay. Right. Okay. Oh, well, it's we just have to we'll have to guess why you don't use it then.
It did flash up, Chris. She did say we send lots of reminders out instead of suspend. So, I mean, we do that as well, actually.
We just changed the wording on our emails. I got a couple of snotty answers last year when telling people they were suspended. So all we did was we still use that that functionality. It's just that we changed the wording to be a lot gentler than suspending you're out. So hopefully this year we won't get any snotty backlash. But we did get quite a few people immediately coming back saying, "Oh, don't suspend me. What do I do?" Who, as Alan says, obviously not paid any attention to the previous reminder emails until the last minute.
No, tell it like it is, Sandra. Just tell them you're out, you're gone.
but that removes them from their groups as well. Does it? Does that?
Yes.
Do they recognise that?
It was a case of where are these? Why have we got red members at the bottom of the list now?
Yeah.
It's because they shouldn't be coming to your group now. They haven't paid. Alan, stop laughing, Alan. I can see that. You know full well what's. Anyway, I was just going to say, if everybody wants to see what Phyllis has written, or you can write messages, if you go to the bottom right hand, it's the one you'll see two bodies. It's the one next door, chat. If you click on that, side panel comes up with all the wording on it, by the way.
All right. Okay.
For those who didn't
know that.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Can you see it all? And down the bottom there, if you click in your cursor, it says send a message to everyone. That's how it comes up.
Yeah, it's a chat room, basically.
Yeah, it's a chat box.
Right.
Oh, group leaders.
Can't see ours doing anything about that. They just say that's a committee problem.
Yeah.
John, tell me where you're from.
Hello. I'm from the Laos U3A.
Sorry, I missed that. Sorry, say again.
Laos.
Oh, Laos. Oh, right. Yes. Okay. Oh, right. So you don't you let your group leaders manage the membership of the group or the membership of the whole thing?
Well, just saying about if we have non-paying members, the membership secretary will send an email to the group leader concerned and saying you have these members in your group who haven't paid, and then it's the group leader's responsibility to chase them up.
And they do? The system works?
Yes. I mean, they will chase them up, and then either a member, if they pay, obviously they're still within the group, but if they don't pay, then they're out.
Right. Okay.
I may be wrong here, Chris, but when you suspend a member, do the group leaders of the groups they belong to not get an email anyway?
Yes.
They do.
Yeah. And if you word that correctly, you sort of say to them, if the person appears in red at the bottom of your list, they are suspended, don't let them in. Your name's not on the list, you're not coming in.
Yes. But
seems to work with ours. Hello, we've frozen.
Somebody's
frozen.
We're all right.
Yeah, it seems to work with ours. Our group leaders seem to have got the drift of it in the main.
Right, good.
Yeah, you're quite right. They do phone up and say, why did I get this email saying this member's suspended?
Have a guess, because they're suspended.
Because they're suspended and they haven't paid. Yeah, I mean, you just think, well, how have you read the email that was sent to you? Yes, you're quite right, Sandra. No, they don't, do they? A lot of them just see it's FU3A and then, in our case, FU, and delete it.
I do apologise to the other people on the call. I am fast approaching. I'm within a month of not being chairman anymore, and I'm getting D-Mob happy.
Hadn't noticed, Alan.
Right, good. Okay, well, look, I've gone through the sort of the overall process. Does anybody want to sort of raise some issues or anything connected here, or talk about anything else while we're...
As we were talking groups, is Flintshire the only one that uses the group finance on the system?
Well, there's bits of group finance, isn't there? There's obviously payment groups, and then there's a finance section associated with that, and people have paid and that sort of thing, which I think several groups are using that, aren't they? But in terms of the report, I think you're talking about, aren't you? Which is, I'm not sure anybody else is using that.
Okay.
And you can actually put costs in against the groups. You can either put the group costs in through this system here, or you can put them in actually inside the group, so the group leader can put group.
Chris,
what system where, Chris?
We're not seeing anything.
No, we were just talking, really. I mean,
I thought you. No, sorry. I thought you looked as if you were pointing at your presentation bit.
Right. Hang on. I'll just go to. Let's see if I can find one. Hang on. This one looks a likely one. All right, let's just share again. Nope, not there. So this is the what you're talking, Stephen, talking about, Stephen, isn't it? This is the
yes, it's the two. It's the blue wallet and the black money bag. Yeah, which is what you just clicked on.
So so in here, if you put in and also if you put information in the accounting system as well and set it against the group, it will come up here as well. So it's there's about 3 different sections.
Yeah, which that must be what, for some strange reason, hasn't happened. And it may be that our treasurer hasn't set our Stripe money against my group, nor has she put the coach payment against my group either,
Well,
because it's not showed up.
the Stripe payment should automatically go there. If you've set it up and it's a payment group, that the Stripe payment should automatically go into this analysis.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I should have said that the trip was set up as a payment group.
Right.
Yeah, which is where it did all go into, and that's there. But of course, that group should be linked, and this is the thing, I think, is because we set that up as a payment group, it's showing there, but it's not showing up in my family history finance bit. Can you don't understand what I'm saying? It's a bit tricky.
So you've set it up in the group, and somebody's paid their money.
Yeah, we set it up. The trip was a trip, but run by my family history group.
Right.
But it was set up as a payment group.
Yeah.
So that obviously the money can go in, but that money now that obviously the trips happened in June, that £330 is now not showing in my family history group, and neither is the payment of the coach, which was £470, showing up in my group either.
Are we talking here about a subscription payment or a payment group?
No, it's just a payment group, Chris.
So it's a one-off payment group which you just pay and then it disappears. So
Yeah,
it's not your normal group; it's a special group.
it's just a trip. Yeah, for the trip. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll have a look. I'll have a look at it, and we'll talk about it afterwards if you want to.
Okay. Yeah. I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
Can I ask, Chris? I think a number of U3As, their finance year might be the 1st of January, but their membership year might be any time afterwards, like the 1st of May in our case.
Yeah.
Does that make it difficult? Because our treasurer is having a moan about all this extra work he's having to do now. I started using Stripe and things like this. And I just wondered, should he do something on the 1st of January to reset everything so that you start again, or does it cause a problem?
Well, I presume that people have their membership year after their financial group year. So, for instance, you might have the 1st of April as your membership and the 1st of January as your financial, so that all payments that are made for the thing go into that year. Whereas, obviously, you've got the difference between the cash and the bank accounts and the actual where it's meant to be associated against. So, if you have the financial year and the membership year at the same time, you're going to have an awful lot of cash coming in, which goes into the previous financial year from a cash point of view, but will obviously take account from a membership point of view. The membership will go into the next year, and that's why there's two sections here on the Treasurer's dashboard, because the top part. So the top part recognises the not when it was paid, but what it applies to, and the bottom part applies to when it was actually paid. And if you make your financial year 3 months before your membership year, then everything will be seen to be in the same year together. So and that's really the only reason for having a financial year separate from the membership year, I would think.
Yeah. I don't. Actually, sounds like it's a good thing then, doesn't it, to have them different? Yeah.
Yes, I would think so. It would make life, I would think, much easier in terms of the money comes in and is associated with the same year. Whereas if at the moment, if you have them at the same time, you'll have an awful lot of money coming into last year, which if you're running the accounts, you then have to basically take into account, if you like, in your accounts, because you'll have had, I don't know, £5,000 paid in advance, which you've got to effectively transfer to the following year's accounts.
Yeah, and treat it as a liability in the balance sheet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Alan, this is the other Alan. For the first year of my chairmanship, I was fighting with our treasurer saying, why the heck don't we have membership year and financial year the same day? And basically, she ended up coming round with a blooming cricket bat and beating me round the head and explaining why, if you have them on the same day, it doesn't work very well.
No. Okay.
I still don't totally understand it, but I backed off and gone, okay, fine, that's fine by me.
Yes.
So what is yours, Alan? Alan Sutton, what is your financial year start?
1st of January and membership 1st of May.
Oh, right. Well, I would have thought that was ideal then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, you know, as I think we've discussed, if you want to, I suppose your treasurer is having a lot of time because he's doing a lot which the system can do for him, but he doesn't quite yet trust it to actually do it for him yet.
Quite possibly. I think a lot of it's to do with all these Stripe fees. So the money coming in from the members, you know, might be £1,000, but actually going in his bank would be £950, that sort of thing, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But the bank reconciliation part of the system takes that into account. So you can, if he uses that, then that would save him having to do the bank rec in that way, because it would all be inside the system then. But you know,
which bit would he go to see all that or do all that? Which part of the dashboard?
Well, the dash he would if he's doing his doing the bank reconciliation, he's probably going into more the you've got your bank accounts, your accounts and your bank accounts here. So you know, if you're looking at the membership account, you can see all the payments that are coming into the bank account. And so what that will do is combine together. So, you know, you may have 100 Stripe payments going in on a particular day, you know, round about renewal time. But the system, Stripe will pass it to you as one amount of money, and goes in as a single item into your bank account. Well, this here will do the same thing. So it will say there's only one value, being transferred across from Stripe, but the system here will give you a breakdown of all the people that make up that amount of money. You know, if he's doing an individual reconciliation of each person, then I can see why it would take him a long time.
Yes. Does it?
And if, you know, as I said, I think we've said that if he wants to have a little session, I'm quite happy to have a session with him and go through it and sort of show him what he can get out of it if he wants to.
Yes. But I did hear Phyllis say on one of our forums that she does she reconciles within Stripe because there's reports in Stripe that you can use as well. Now whether they are easier or better for a treasurer, I don't know. I'm not into that sort of thing.
Yeah, but you've still got to, even if you do it there, you've still got to come back and reconcile it with the system at some point.
Yes.
Or unless you just don't bother with the system at all, I suppose.
Yeah. I think he's more trying to do his reports that he sends off to the trust and the charity commission and all that. Things have to be a certain way, don't they?
Yes. I don't know the detail of what those reports, those financial reports look like.
Yes.
So. Okay. Well, anyway, if he does want if he wants to do that, then that'd be fine. I'm happy to do that.
A question, Chris.
Yeah.
We've got sort of 30-something odd locked members at the moment. Just wondering what that prevents them doing. Can they still pay group subscriptions and payment groups and things like that?
Have we got you've got 30 more locked ones, have you?
Yes.
Right. Right. Okay. I thought we got to the bottom of that issue. No, we haven't got to the bottom of the issue.
No. I thought it was you'd found out it was going to be 11.5 if you'd this.
Although I thought I put the solution into your system. I'll have to have a look. Okay. Look. If you want me to, I'll just clear out your locked members and I'm surprised. I'm just desperately trying to remember why it happened now. I can't actually remember the exact detail of it. Can you?
No, not off the top of my head.
Just so everybody else knows what we're talking about, there is a there is a certain circumstance which I can't remember what it is, but but it took us a while to find it, but we found it in the end. That will stop a person making a credit card payment, because what happens is that when they make their payment, if it doesn't get completed properly for any reason, if they abandon it or whatever, as I can't remember quite what the circumstance is, it locks the system, and that person can no longer make it until we release them back off again, because it's trying to protect, to make certain that you don't have somebody going in again and again and again trying to solve something they can't solve, if you like. So it stops them doing that. But we can, yes, I'll have to remind I can't remember what the solution is, but we found a solution to it. We found out what caused it, and we found a solution to it. But it's in, as you say, it's in must be in 11.5. I'll clear out your locked ones anyway.
Thank you, Chris.
If anybody else has got any.
There's a table in there, Chris, with locked members.
There is a table called locked members, yes, that you can look at anytime you want to from the report generator to see see what's there, and if there's anything you want clearing out, I'm happy to do it. But I just have to
Is there a table called locked dates or something like that as well?
That's to do with the account system. Yes, once you've locked, once you've decided, yes, I don't want any, I've finished my accounts for this year. You can lock the system, so it allows no more transactions to go in dated in that will go into the previous year. They'll, even if they are dated a different date, they'll go into the next year. It's a way of ensuring that if people, once you've locked in, completed your accounts and sort of submitted your accounts, that you can't go back and make changes to it afterwards.
Oh, right. So nothing to do with the locked members then?
No, nothing to do with locked members, no.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I ask something a bit different, but it's something that Alan raised a while ago and we contributed on the forum, was to do with his, at least one of Alan's membership secretaries not choosing backs payment or card payment or whatever it was, checks, when it was wrong, because we get exactly the same thing. So we came up with different ideas. I suggested it should be blank. I think Alan suggested it should be bank transfers at the top, which sounds sensible to me. Is that an 11.5 or is that something?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, what that does now is that it basically remembers now what you last put in. You being an individual, not you being a U3A. So if you put a bank transfer in last time as the thing, it will default to that. And if you then change it to something else next time they come in, it'll go to whatever you've changed it to. So it just basically remembers what you last used.
What if you log out and come back next day?
No, it'll still be there.
Still be there. Right. Yeah. Okay. So that's 11.5.
But the one thing that if you do, if you clear out your cache, then it will forget it. Right. So it's basically it's storing this as a cookie on your system. So if you clear your cookies, then it will forget.
That's all right. She won't know how to do that, so that's okay.
Yeah. We've only got one fella that takes manual payments. Everything else is auto. And it was a case of he only uses backs. That's all he does. That's our only alternative. And because it will be coming up with backs every time on his machine, it's problem solved from our point of view.
Yes. Yeah. Good.
Good. Right.
If anyone is interested, Chris, if we're sort of throwing bits in, and you'll be interested in that, our direct debits are going through an absolute treat this year. We're still doing them on 100 at a time, which Chris knows that I want more than 100 at a time. We've got 617, I think it is, direct debit set up, and they are gradually going through with this automatic take 14 days before the start of your membership year. It took 100 on the first day, and then Chris did an extra 100, and then it took another 100 the next day, and then another 100 the next day. It's going to take us 7 days to get through the lot. And I'm hoping I can convince Chris to say, right, just do the lot. Stop mucking about with little bundles.
Well, yeah, we can. You've done all but 100 now, haven't you?
We're 117 light, I think it is. So it'll be another 2 days.
Okay.
Mind you, I say 117. It might not be 117 because you just come up with that locked members thing, and I think we've got 1 or 2 that are locked members, and I don't know whether that's making a difference.
No, it's only to do with Stripe.
Oh,
so
right, okay.
It's really to stop somebody, one of your members, getting themselves into a muddle and then keep on going on and going on and going on, trying to do it. It basically takes the button away from them.
Yeah, okay.
Once it gets confused.
Yeah, I got halfway through checking it just before this call, Chris. So I've got to check out why these. I think there's about 10 members or something that I don't know. Something's gone wrong with the direct debits, and I don't know what. But we haven't taken them yet, so I'll sort that out later. Right. But yeah, direct debits, guys. What I was saying was, it seems to be working an absolute treat. It's got better in the 3 years we've been using it, and it's now to the point where I think it's absolutely fine. So if you fancy taking up direct debits, go for it.
Chris.
Yeah.
Chris. Could you just run through again? It might be helpful for other people, but certainly helpful for us. You went through, you found a page for us which showed the paying in slip numbers and gave details of the breakdown, I think, of the paying in slips. What was for each paying in slip? And I can't remember. And it was really useful, but I can't remember how you got to it.
So there's 2 parts to this. I'll go back and then switch it back on again. There's the paying into bank.
Yep, all right.
Which is where if you've got manual payments like checks and such like coming through, and you click on the inside the membership system, say this paid, this person's paid, this person's paid. They all go into here, so that when you go and sort of make your payment into the bank, you say, right, I'm going to put a batch in, and you sort of click the ones that you're going to pay in, and then you give it a number, and like so, and they now go into the bank. That's section 1. That's not what you're talking about, I guess.
No, we use that, so it's this other bit, presumably.
The other bit is the bank account itself, where you can so you can now go in and see if I go to 1st of August.
Exactly where we just went.
No, not that one. No, that one. What I was. Okay, it can't. It must be. Oh, okay. Oh, oh, right. Okay, so. Is it here where it's showing the payments in the thing, and you can click on here and show what the breakdown of the.
That was it. Yeah. So bank account details. Select the bank account.
Yes, that's right.
And a date, and then it should display.
Yes. So this is what I was talking about earlier on. From the so there's 3 sources that can that come into. There's obviously Stripe automatically comes into here. And so when you do a Stripe transfer, can't remember whether these are that, or is it that one? Yeah. So if you get a Stripe transfer, so it groups those up into this here. If you have one which is you do yourself, like we just put one in, it comes here and you can see the payments that have or the entries that have gone against the account, and it's basically trying to represent the bank account, what actually goes into the bank account. But obviously, if you don't put the manual transactions in, then it won't actually reconcile back to your bank account. But if it is, then this will give you hopefully a complete reconciliation. But certainly will give you all the stuff that the system knows about: direct debits, credit cards, and any manual payments will go into that entry there. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we're sort of our time's pretty much up. Just next time, I was planning to do on the report generator. Is that okay for everybody? Is that what people want to see? Okay, that's great.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So we'll do that sometime in September then, I'll start from the very beginning on that as well.
Thank you. Very good.
Okay. Good.
Great.
All right. Then. Thanks very much, everybody. And I've got a list of things here, which I'll send you all a note, basically, on the answers to the things I've